Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show. So today's video is going to be a review of Marriage Story. Before I begin my review, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and thank you to everyone who has so far. Currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So let's get into the review. So obviously, what the story is about. If you don't know what the story is about and you clicked on this video, Marriage Story, the title of the film, kind of gives it away. I went in, I didn't read the premise before I went in, so I was just going off the title. I just thought maybe it was going to be about a marriage, like a journey to marriage, maybe a divorce. That's kind of what I guessed, because I didn't read any material before going into the screening that I went to. And I watched it at the BFI London Film Festival press screening. So basically, the premise, the plot, the main plot is basically there's this family, it's this couple. It's so long trying to remember everyone's name. So the story basically centers around the marriage and the breakdown of the marriage of Charlie and Nicole. And Nicole is obviously played by Scarlett Johansson. Charlie's played by Adam Driver, and they have one son. And at the beginning of the film, it kind of opens as this monologue from both of them, saying what they like about each other, what they love about each other. And it's all very sweet. And it's all very sweet and dandy. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what could go wrong? They seem like the perfect couple. But then obviously we learned that they're getting a divorce. And at first it appears to be quite amicable, comfy, nice divorce, a nice cushy divorce. But then obviously things get messy. And that's basically what the story is about, the messy divorce. And kind of within that messy divorce, we kind of see things unravel, because obviously at first they seem like the perfect couple, the perfect duo, and we kind of see the cracks in their marriage. By the end of it, it's kind of just like, yeah, they needed to get a divorce. And another kind of key thing within the film is the family court system. And obviously the American system is different to the UK system. Yeah, and just like family court in America just seems like so ruthless. It just really highlights how ruthless family court is. Like, even the whole section of them in family court could literally be its own movie. And yeah, I thought like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, Criminal Court, I thought that was drama, but Family Court, there's a lot of drama there. So if anyone has any recommendations of family court shows that are not like reality TV, but like scripted dramas, let me know in the comments if you have any good recommendations. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting aspect, family court. And then obviously the lawyers, and then also when there's a child involved in a divorce as well. The film touches on that as well, and I felt like that was kind of like an interesting portrayal of, the child kind of being in the middle, and how that kind of makes things messier when you are divorcing and you're not really having like an amicable divorce where you have to do things through lawyers, and like tactics that lawyers do to like hinder their other client. And again, could literally just be another film on its own. And I feel like they were dramatized really well, really intriguing, really engaging. This film, I went to go see at 8 a.m. and I stayed awake for the whole thing. Let me tell you, some of these 8 a.m. screenings, some of them, I had a little nap in the middle of them, because it's just like 8 a.m. If you have an 8 a.m. screening and I'm awake and engaged with the film for the whole 2 hours and a bit, for the whole length of the film, then it's a good film. Then you kind of know it's a good film if it's an 8 a.m. screening and you're thoroughly engaged throughout the whole thing, even after like 5 hours of sleep. So overall, I say the plot was not even solid. It was a good plot. It was a good storyline. In terms of the acting, Adam Driver, again, really good. Both of the leads, Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, they both did a really good job. And really credit to the acting. Obviously with Charlie's character, it's really interesting how your perception of him and your kind of views of him change, throughout the film. I really like how Adam Driver's character kind of took us on a trip, because in the beginning he seems like this, you know, particular type of person, and in the middle you're kind of thinking, well, maybe he isn't as, you know, golden as he has. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he isn't the good guy in the marriage. Maybe he is the bad guy in the marriage, as the wife is saying. So yeah, I think it's very interesting for both of the characters. You kind of, because obviously in divorce, it's kind of like who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. You know, are they telling the truth about that? Is the wife telling the truth? Is the husband telling the truth? And you know, throughout the movie, we kind of see parts of their character unravel, because obviously it's like because the film kind of takes the aspect of like they are the narrators, but are they reliable narrators? It kind of takes you on that trip in that story, and it's like, because at the same time they're amicable, but then at the same time they're being messy in court, which is quite interesting. So yeah, I think they played the divorcees really well. I feel like it was a really nuanced performance. And there was a lot of things, like with the directing, there was a lot of like monologues, like just like, there's a lot of monologues or like duologues where there was like just one of the characters speaking predominantly of the time. And there was like a good, like, you know, 5 minutes of them just talking. I found obviously the inclusion of that really interesting, because kind of like filmmaking 101, like you don't really want to have too much dialogue, you want to show not tell. But I feel like it worked really well in the film, because Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver are such good actors that, you know, you could watch a 5-minute monologue of them and still be engaged like throughout it. Interesting inclusion from Noah Baumbach. Obviously he directed and wrote it, so yeah, because that could be a risk. Like if you have bad actors and you had a 5-minute dialogue, that could be a big risk. Like I've watched loads of films where they have like literally like a 10-minute monologue or 10-minute monologue. I'm just like, I'm actually going to sleep here. That could be credited to the director Noah Baumbach, who directed and wrote it. As somebody who did study drama, I do love a good monologue. So for anyone who's watched the film, let me know what you kind of thought about the kind of use of excessive monologues in the film. And then obviously the lawyers, we've got Laura Dern in there. She was Scarlett Johansson's lawyer, and they kind of took the route with her like she's this kind of like celebrity lawyer, and almost like, who is that? I think it's Bloom. I know her last name was Bloom. She kind of reminded me of like Black China's lawyer, because it's kind of like, you know, they do stuff, obviously they're representing the client, but it's almost like they are aspiring celebrities themselves. So like she's like promoting her book while she's doing the consultation, and also, you know, with like a lawyer and reputation, you want to get the best deal. So like there was a lot of the times where, you know, Nicole wanted to do things a certain way, but she would kind of push it another way, because not necessarily to benefit her client, but because she wanted to show that she was a good lawyer and she has this power play. It's almost like, you get points for how ruthless you are as a lawyer. I thought that was quite an interesting element within her character. And yet, if there's anyone who's like visited a lawyer that represents celebrities, is that how they really are? And then also Charlie's lawyer, he has numerous lawyers. He has a nice lawyer, and then he goes with a ruthless lawyer. And again, it's just like the family court drama. So that was kind of like another element, because it's kind of like, at first they were kind of like, you know, I'm just getting a lawyer to cover my back, but I still want to kind of have a nice cushy divorce. But then, you know, the lawyers kind of hyped them up to be ruthless. So I thought that was entertaining to watch, really. That was entertaining to watch unravel. In terms of like the tone of the film, even though it's kind of like, you know, I'd say it was a drama, but it wasn't that heavy. It was kind of more on the kind of entertaining scandal, How to Get Away with Murder side. Maybe a bit more on the How to Get Away with Murder side rather than Scandal, because it's a bit more sophisticated. In terms of like the audience, I'd say audience-wise, you'd probably enjoy it more if you like kind of not necessarily heavy but more serious dramas. If you like kind of like court dramas, divorce court dramas, or things, complex stories about relationships and marriages, I feel like you would enjoy it more. If you're not really into those things, I'm not saying that you wouldn't enjoy it, but you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as somebody who was really into kind of complex relationships and divorces and court and drama. I'm kind of thinking more around the 20s and above would find it more enjoyable rather than a kind of teenage audience, in my opinion. Yeah, there was some funny scenes in there. We do see Adam Driver singing. He's definitely got some pipes on him. I definitely feel like he could literally do a musical role. Like, he could sing like just as good as Hugh Jackman. So I definitely think, you know, we could see him in a musical. I thought it was a bit random though. Like, there was just like a random scene of him just like singing. So yeah, what do you guys think of Adam Driver? For those of you who've watched it, what do you guys think of Adam Driver's pipes? So yeah, you know, the cinematography was solid. In terms of scenes, there wasn't really anything that I could point out and I was like, wow, that was a really good shot. I just feel like overall it was, you know, a smooth cinematography. The score, some of the score I found a bit weird. Like at the beginning, you know, it's set in like it's set in present day New York, but then they kind of have like a 1950s, 60s score, which felt a bit strange. I was thinking maybe because it's like about romance and love, maybe that's why they put it in, but it felt a bit strange. Did anyone feel like the kind of 1950s, 60s score felt a bit strange in the film? If you've watched it, let me know. But yeah, that is my opinion. Overall, I give it a really strong 3.5 out of 5. Almost a 4, but like not quite. Like if I could probably do quarter, I probably would say like 3.75. Even 3.75, but I feel like it's a really strong 3.5. Almost a 4, but not quite for me personally. I feel like it was a really good film, but not amazing. I feel like 4 is like going on amazing, and then 5 is like outstanding. So I think it's a really strong 3.5, almost a 4, but not quite. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the film. If you've watched it, and if you haven't, let me know if you're going to catch it. In terms of watching it in the cinema, I'd say go watch it in the film. I feel like it's a good film. It's good enough for the cinema. Obviously, you can wait till it comes on Netflix, but I feel like this is a film that, you know, if you can, it would be a nice experience to enjoy it in the cinema. So I would recommend going to go see it at the cinema. So yeah, until next time, guys, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Bye.